Printing a check and separate checks. In Positouch, there are a few ways to print a check. Reopen the check. From the order screen, there's a Print Check button at the bottom right. If you have unsent items, touching Print Check will print a guest check and send all unordered items. In this case, if we touch Print Check, the avocado stack will be ordered, the check will print, and will be logged off. If a check has been printed once and you need to print another, you can use the Print Check button again, or go to Review Order and use the Reprint Check. Print check from here, go to Review Order. You can reprint the check from here. Also notice that from the Reopen screen, there is a Reprint button here on the right. Highlight the check, touch Reprint, and it will reprint that check for you. Another button on the Review Order screen is the Print Pay. This will print a copy of the check and take you to the payment screen. Separate checks. Separate checks are pretty easy in Positouch. From the Reopen screen, you highlight the check and notice that there is a Separate Check button at the bottom of the screen. Select that, and now you can see your check. All items will show under guest number 1, but it's very easy to move them to the other positions. To move a single item, highlight the item and then touch the guest number up at the top of the location that you want to move that to. To move it back, select it, touch the guest number, and it puts it back on guest number 1. You can also separate by seats quickly by using the Seat Separate Check button at the bottom. This is why it's important to put the items on the correct seat numbers to start with, not only for the purposes of delivering the right item to the right guest when the food is delivered, but it makes it very quick and easy when you're ready to do separate checks. Another way is to split the check evenly. Touch Split Check and it will ask you how many ways to split the check. This might be useful if you have 2 couples at a table and they decide to just split the check evenly 2 ways. Notice that when we log in and go back to reopen checks, there are separate check numbers for each one, but still on the same table number. When we look at each check, you can see that they have half of the cost of each item showing on their check. It's very important to only separate the checks when it's time for the guest to pay. A manager would be needed to rejoin the checks for you. If a guest wants to add more items, you won't have a single check to add to. Also, once you've separated the table, do not access it by touching the table from the table layout screen. When you do this, you'll only see one of the checks, the original check number. Always access separate checks by going to the Reopen Check button so that you can see each check for that table. In this case, we see 2 checks for table number 3. The original check number, which was number 6, and the second check number, which is check number 8. You can also split an item from the separate check screen. You might use this for a bottle of wine or for an appetizer. To reopen the check, we can also get to separate checks from the review screen. Select the item, touch Split Item, and you'll get a box that asks you for the number of ways to split. We'll split this 2 ways. Notice it puts both splits under guest number 1. And now we can highlight the item and move it to the second seat number. The split amounts will show under the original guest, and you can then move the amounts to the correct guest. Hit return, print the checks. If you log back in, you see check number 9 and check number 10, both for table 1, and each check has part of the bottle of Jordan Chardonnay.